Serving bread at the table. In the next set of lessons, we'll be looking at different types of bread service, including bread service at the table, bread service from a tray, and the silver service of bread. Bread service can be simple, by placing the bread on the table for the guests to help themselves, or it can be more elaborate, as in the silver service of bread. Whichever type best suits your establishment, the purpose is to provide the guest with something to nibble on before the main meal and quiet the initial rumbling in their stomachs. In this lesson, we'll take a look at the first type of bread service, serving bread on the table. The key points to remember here are providing bread accompaniments, placing the breadboard correctly, and clearing the breadboard. Let's start with providing bread accompaniments. Bread should be served with appropriate bread accompaniments, such as butter, olive oil, and balsamic vinegar. If your establishment has a style of service where bread accompaniments aren't already on the table, be sure to bring these items with the bread. This is to avoid having your guests sitting there without anything to add to their bread. Remember that we must always think 2 steps ahead. So, at this stage, also ensure that there is space to place the breadboard. This will save you the trouble of having to make space for it while holding the bread in one hand. There is nothing worse than having to ask your guests to make space for you because you have failed to plan ahead and make space available. Now let's take a look at placing the breadboard correctly. Now that the accompaniments are on the table and there is space, you can deliver the bread. A great touch before bringing out the bread is to ensure that there are equal numbers of guests and bread. For example, if you have 2 guests, don't bring 5 slices of bread. The guests will all end up staring at the 1 piece left over, wondering who should take it. Place the bread in a position on the table which is easy for the guests to access. This means that the bread must be close to the guest's side plate. If there is a lady at the table with men, place the bread closer to the lady. This is similar to serving ladies first, by allowing them to reach the bread first. For big tables, you may need to bring more than 1 container of bread to ensure that everyone is able to enjoy some. Lastly, let's finish off with clearing the breadboard. If the guests have finished all the bread, you should ask them if they would like some more. If so, be sure to bring another serving and more bread accompaniments if necessary. If the guests say they would not like any more bread, remove the bread dish and bread accompaniments. Also remove the side plates. This will help to create more space for the guests, which will allow them to be more comfortable. So to recap, can you remember the main steps in serving bread on a breadboard? They are providing bread accompaniments, placing the breadboard correctly, and clearing the breadboard. If you know what to do under each of these points, you can move on to bread tray service next. Good luck!